I'm going to give you 10 red flags about spouse selection. Do you think intimacy gets you more attached to a person and makes it harder to logically discern if they're the right one? If you don't, that's a red flag. And number two, do you want to love someone with all your heart? Like, do you want to be able to say, I love them completely and I want to be with them fully, life commitment, 100%? If a person isn't looking for that, isn't actually looking for that spouse, that and using the language of it, like I want the one, and I want to be, bonded and united and attached to someone. If they're not using those words, then watch out. Number three, obviously these feminist terms like quote unquote X positive, if you know what I mean, bedroom intimacy positive, and empowerment. On one hand, they may be useful to give women who don't have a chance, like they don't have a stable father, or they don't have, they're financially limited, and their family can't help to protect them and prepare them for a husband. And that's one thing, but it's another thing differently if how people act when they actually have money. Would they want to keep their daughters at home, or at least in gender separate schools, and help prepare them to avoid the wrong men and to prepare for a husband? If they don't, I'm not trying to do that, whether they're men or women. If they're not trying to do that, then that's a red flag. And again, to reemphasize those terms, like you'll hear all these terms that women talk about, like freedom from men. It's like we're inextricably tied to each other. We need each other. We need all of our strengths to create a harmonious society. Red flag number five. What if they don't want to raise children together? It's not about not wanting to have children. There may be various reasons: financial, medical, or maybe they just, maybe their child is some mutual project or business that they're doing together, so other people can have children. But if they're not willing to actually invest in certain ways in children, that's a warning that they're not really seeing themselves as being a family with you. Like they're just seeing themselves as being a quote unquote boyfriend or girlfriend, whatever that means, or partner. No, you want to be husband and wife, even if you don't not going to have kids, even if you're not going to adopt. You want to be two people who are willing to, be a good quote unquote uncle and aunt figure, or parental guardian figure to various people over time, and just be part of the human experience, because you can't you can't extricate that aspect of the future from what you're creating if you're in the energy of love. Red flag number six. If a person doesn't talk about loving themselves and knowing themselves and self intimacy, if they're not if they're not using these tools to be in the frequency and vibration of love, then what ends up happening is they're they're not they're not committed to themselves. They don't know who they are. They don't have a list of what they want in life. They don't have like the terms, and this is really critical right here. The terms of the relationship. Like they say boyfriend and girlfriend doesn't really have any terms. Maybe monogamy is a term, but it's unspoken, and it's not really truly commitment, because it's not a life commitment. They can't say they're in love and they want to marry each other. They can't say they are, you know, like, what if they find someone else who they would rather be with, and would want to quote unquote cheat on. But guess what? It's not really cheating because it's only boyfriend girlfriend. It's not really a the terms are ambiguous. Are we going to stay together for 1 year and see if that works? Like, it's the lukewarmness of it is a threat to a sustainable life, and and that's why it's encouraged to be single, and to prefer being single and in the vibration of love and self-love, and only invite another person into that if they have the same values and interests, and so you can maintain that vibration of love, that resonance together over time. 'Cause anybody can fake it for a short period of time, maybe 2 years at most, maybe a little more. But how do you define love? Well, hey, love is something that if you test it and it works. And number 7, that we have to be quote unquote intimate before we marry. That's actually a red flag, because, like I said in one of the previous red flags, it makes your judgment interfered with, and it suggests that you would want to be intimate with various people before marriage. It suggests that the man wants his woman to have been with other men. It suggests the woman wants to have been, attached, because women have this more following and attaching, where they kind of connect with the man and they kind of orient themselves around his bedroom intimacy and his lifestyle, and they. And so, what else here? Number 8. So, red flag is people saying that, oh, I don't want to be a wife, or whatnot. The reality is, it's maybe that they cannot be a wife, and they cannot be a husband. Maybe they're not husband material because they're not even trying to prepare. So that preparation, if they're not doing that, that's a red flag. And by the way, to re-emphasis on the red flag of wanting premarital intimacy, you can communicate with two adults on the internet. You can communicate, oh, this is somebody who I'm, attracted to, and these are my expectations in the bedroom. Number 9 is actually a lack of regular exercise, because there's all these talk about, well, the declining bedroom intimacy in marriages and everything. That's just correlated with lack of exercise. People who are exercising and are strong, they will have a strong intimate drive, and that's part of the the flame that keeps love alive. And let's see. So we need 2 more. So red flag number 8. Excuse me, number 9. When a man or a woman are not wanting to be celibate before marriage, and the man's willing to give his commitment to a woman, but she's not giving him her body and her commitment, and vice versa. Like, the idea that they don't want to do those things, it's like, that's what life is about. And if you don't want to do those things, then you don't want somebody in your life to always be there. And finally, people trying to act crazy and goofy. That's not cute. It's not cute to act like you don't want to be the masculine man leader and a feminine woman follower as an ideal, like taking the man's last name. All this craziness of hyphenation, and men not wanting the woman to make all the money. Like, men want to be men. Want your wife to be able to be a woman. Watch for those 10 flags, you guys.